youth national team standout. Alejandro Zendejas was one. So was Zack Steffan back in his day. Steffan, of course, on loan from Manchester City to Middlesbrough in the Championship, which you can watch on ESPN+. Reporter Alan Nixon, Herc, is reporting that Borough manager Chris Wilder wants to stick with Liam Roberts, the backup, who has played the last 3 games with Steffan out due to a knee injury. So we know this move was supposed to help secure Zack Steffen's hold on the U.S. and that number 1 job. Do you think his starting spot in Qatar, Herc, is now in jeopardy?
It is. It is now in jeopardy. And I'd go as far as saying it's not only a starting job that's in jeopardy, it could be his roster spot in Qatar that's in jeopardy, because per Zack Steffan on this very program, when you interviewed him, he stressed how important it was to play for a goalkeeper, for himself. So if you're not playing and if you're not available to play, you can't be available for consideration, especially when you're leaving the door open for somebody else, which has been something of a trend for Zack Steffan. Now, the injuries are unfortunate. You know how highly I value and rate Zack Steffan. I think when he's healthy, he's the clear number 1 for me. But if you're not healthy and you keep leaving this door open, and we've seen it left open at the national team level. We can go back to the CONCACAF Nations League final. He comes out injured, and it's Ethan Horvath who comes in and plays hero, stopping an Andres Guardado penalty kick. And all of a sudden, Ethan Horvath is thrown into the equation. And then for injury worries again, he leaves the door open to Matt Turner, and then Matt Turner goes on to have a ridiculous Gold Cup, and then he has good outings with the U.S. men's national team. It's being left open, and players are taking advantage of it. Now, if you go down to the championship to play, you need to play. You can't be the backup there. And if that's the case, that's not only putting his starting position in jeopardy, that's putting his roster spot in jeopardy.
The question here is, how much faith do you think Gregg Berhalter has in Zack Steffan? I think we go back to that Mexico game, remember, where there was big doubts with Steffan ready. And in that huge spot, even with Steffan not playing, not having that consistency, Gregg Berhalter went with him. It would seem like a real stretch for me that he would forget about him, as you're saying, maybe entirely, to the point where he went from the number 1 discussion to maybe falling out of the top 3 and not making it to the top.
And I'm talking about falling out of the top 3 just due to injury. I mean, I'm talking about staying available, staying ready. I mean, selection is one thing, like with the coach values or not, but you can't even give him the chance to select you because you're not healthy. That's the trend with Zack Steffan and leaving doors open. And I agree with you, because it's Matt Turner on this very program that said, hey, listen, Gregg Berhalter in the big games, Mexico, Costa Rica, whether I liked it or not, went with Zack Steffan.
Sure. It's one thing also to sit the bench when you're with City. It's another thing, right, to sit the bench with you in Middlesbrough. But this is like a developing situation for the U.S., isn't it? Because you don't really have a ton of great options. We just saw Matt Turner get a start for Arsenal in the Europa League. Is he now the incumbent, basically? Is he sitting in the driver's seat?
I think so. And again, maybe to no fault of Zack Steffen's own, because there are injuries, and it seems to be another knee injury. But since Dusseldorf, it's been an injury. And then he goes to City, and it's been injuries. With the U.S. men's national team, he's missed games because of injury. There seems to be a trend. And I've always heard throughout my career, it's better to be available than good. Well, this is a clear example of that.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN+.